So today I'm going to show you, there will be no big topic for but it will be a complex of simple exercises, how you can use Neurographica and some other techniques to release stress very quickly with minimum resources, with minimum tools, and maybe even with minimum time. So how we can help ourselves in a very stressful situations and release this intense pressure inside of us to find some peace, calmness, and maybe some creative resolution. So this is my intention to show you how to deal with stress using art, using Neurographica. The best exercise to release stress is a catharsis exercise, this algorithm of lifting inner constraints or releasing inner constraints. So this is really helps you to work deeper and on much more levels during the to dealing with the stress. But sometimes we don't have enough luxury of time, so the time could be very limited, and what we can do in 15-20 minutes and 30 minutes. So this is the class that I'm intended to show you. So do we have any questions? For those who are new to us, we usually have 3 hours class. And I'm very bad at giving breaks. So if you need a break, we're all adults here. You don't need to ask permission. You can take a break for a walk, or maybe water in, water out. So just make sure that you maybe turn off your camera, so and you don't need to ask permission. So you really take care of yourself.
Can you, I'm sorry, invite Ilka is there?
I don't see her is asking for the invitation.
Okay, she will probably soon, because I just sent her, she has complication.
Because yeah, I'm paying attention, so right now, and after some updates, I have almost every class has a difficulty that somebody is trying to reach. And here she is. I see her. Elka is here, and for some reason I don't even see their approaching, so it could be interesting. But that's why we have a recording, so if anybody is missing, they will be able to see it later. Okay, so welcome to the class, and shall we start? Do we have any questions before we start? If no?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
Does it matter what size Sharpie I use, if it's a narrow point or a fat or the thick point?
So for I use a different thickness of Sharpies. I use a chisel size for the field lines, for universal lines. I use a fine Sharpie for catharsis mostly, and maybe sometimes drawing shapes. And for narrow lines and dissolving the catharsis, I use, and roundings, I always use ultrafine. So this, it gives me the more control over the lines. So and sometimes for some of the exercises, I use a very, very fine, not Sharpies, but different liners. So we are not going to use them today. So if you have only one, and most of the exercises today, we will just use color pencil. So this is one of those days that we maybe not using Sharpies. So just play with color pencils. Okay, so I'm switching my camera. So as always, if you have any questions, you can turn on your sound and just ask the question. So as I say, the best exercise to release stress if you do the whole exercise catharsis one. If you don't have time and if you don't have energy to do it, you can use a sticky note and do catharsis on a sticky note. You can use a pen or pencils. This is just to show you. And it will be enough. And where is my focus? And magic. And magic hasn't happened. Okay, wait. Here it is. So you can dissolve this one and it will take maybe 15 minutes and it's much faster and much easier to deal, but it will help you to release some stress. This is just for about the size of the paper. So you don't really need to use the whole size all the time. You can use much smaller sizes. Okay, so next exercise is very simple, like really simple. And what we are going to do, like when we have a very stressful situations, like something has happened and we just need some emergency help that we really need to work on, I advise you to take just any paper. So if you have a white one, it's just from printer. It's a soft, it's not for drawing, but from the printer. If you don't have white, you can use a newspaper, you can use a printed, I don't know, advertisement from a restaurant, or maybe any paper that can be soft enough will be enough. And what we are going to do next, we are going to crumble it, like really, like you press it, like you make it small, tight ball. We don't tear it, we just crumble it. And you can really invite your body and like really release this energy in it, like release the stress. Make sure that you squeeze it so your palms start burning, like you see they start burning, they start activating, like you really make sure that it's you can use two hands like this, whatever makes it tight, and see how your body starts reacting. So if you have a difficulties with your hand, you don't need to make it so tight, but just release as much as you can, as much as you feel maybe a little bit uncomfortable, but not painful. So make sure that nothing really hurts. Like I have some clients with very tight wrists and arthritis, so be gentle to yourself. Don't try to break yourself. It's the point is to release the stress, not create a new one. So, and now we gently start unfolding it. If the stress was so high and your paper was teared like apart, it's okay. It's better that you tear your paper instead of tearing your soul. So now we like try to flatten it, make it flat and make it smooth, and you see this beautiful wrinkles on this paper. And we are going to use for this exercise, we can use a Sharpie, or we can use colored pencils, whatever you want. And what we are going to do, we are going to follow these wrinkles. We don't really need to, you can start from the side. You don't have to be very exact, but just try to find this unique path of wrinkles. See how it's really running, how it's going. As you notice, with all this crumbled paper, we are not creating the masterpiece, but the goal is to help ourselves. So allow yourself to find a new path, just following wrinkles. You are not going to follow all of them, but maybe some of them, maybe 10 lines. If stress is so high, maybe 20 lines. and it will help you to really release this focus on stress and start finding new possibilities, new opportunities in it. And wherever we have a connection or crossing, we start rounding. We can start rounding right away. We don't need to overwhelm ourselves even more. So I created angle and I round it. And it goes where each directions in different directions, and it can have big intersections or maybe small ones. And see how everything is changing in your body. So because the paper is not smooth, the lines can be look spiky, and you can try to repeat them again to make them bolder, or leave them as they are. It's again, the point not to create it's perfect and smooth. The point to release this overwhelming pressure from your body. Like, let this express on paper, like really. And we create more new lines. And if you want, it goes different directions. And it's already can help you to find some kind of peace and calm down your mind, because mind starts like, it's like always chatting monkey inside, like really just an endless dialogue. And we just observing, we don't force anything, we curiously observing where the line is leading us. We use this neural lines that are running in all different directions. And see, for example, on my drawing, there is a big intersection where all these roads, all these branches are coming from. And if I want, I can create a circle that will harmonize this intersection. Like, I'm bringing this attention that I'm harmonizing this. If you don't have such a well-defined intersections, it's okay. If you want, you can create this circles wherever you want. If you want any extra support or any extra harmony, you can just draw a circle anywhere. So, and we start rounding again. So this could be just a simple rounding. And it looks so simple, and it looks so bold that really no expectations. We're just doing what helps us. This is a healing exercise. It's not really art exercise. And if you have, you can use it if you have anxiety, if you have a panic attack, you can try to, or if you feel like this is coming, usually some people feel when the panic attack is coming, and just try to prepare yourself. And I highly, I recommend to try some, to color it. It could be color pencils. Today I want to show you how you can use highlighters to really make it bright and make it simple. Highlighters have very wide, like chisel point, and it's like really helps you to cover quite wide area of, and it helps color quite fast and very bright. And highlighters usually are translucent, so you can use this base color, and if you want, you can add additional colors on top of it and blend this highlighter with something else and see how it's really working. So this is, and it took us, what, 10 minutes? And it's really helps to change the focus. We already not focused on stress, but maybe we focused on interesting how I can make this crumbled paper look beautiful and maybe more colorful. And this whole exercise is calming your mind and helping to find new opportunities. I feel like I repeated it already like several times.
Anna?
Uh-huh.
I have a question. Is this exercise safe for like 10 or 11-year-old child?
Yes, you can do it with kids. And you always show them, like participate with them together. Like if they do crumble paper, you do crumble paper as well. And like together, because they children always resonate with adults. When you show them how you calming yourself, they will calm themselves just by looking at you and participating in the same exercise. Okay. And for kids, for smaller kids, like they can crumble it. If they feel like they want to tear it apart, it's okay too. So they can do 1 paper, 2 paper, 3 paper. It depends on how stressed they are. And if they don't want to draw anything on the paper, they can just trace with a finger all this wrinkles, and it's maybe healing already. Like they tried to make it flat just by feeling, because it's involving this texture. There is a texture, like if you feel, it has a really beautiful texture, and it helps you to feel your body.
Yeah, thank you.
But for 12 years old, they can be doing, of course, the whole exercise, like with coloring and with lines.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And now I remember what kind of Natalia it is. Which Natalia it is. Okay. So, and you use different colors just to make sure that this is bright and colorful. So if you want to use dark colors, please use dark colors. I always, I'm one who prefer bright colors, but some of my drawings are very dark. And when we have this desire to color dark, it means we want to release this darkness from our soul. So if you will try to cheat yourself and say like, oh, I want to feel uplifted and happy, and I will use just light colors, even if your soul is screaming, I want dark colors, like let me go, and you suppress it, the darkness will stay inside of you. So be very honest with you, and if you feel like you want to release this darkness, release it. So let it go, let it to be seen, let it be expressed instead of suppressed, because it's when we honestly accept our feelings as they are, this is the point where we heal ourselves. Like, we don't really need to be happy all the time. Sometimes we can allow ourselves to feel sadness and grief, and it's precious feelings as well. So allow yourself to be different. I heard from some of my colleagues that kids sometimes complain that parents always want children be happy, and that they don't allow them to be feel sad. But sadness is a really sometimes, not all the time, you have to pay attention if it's too much, but some people want to be experience it because it gives them a different value of life and different perspective to happiness when they have this opportunity to feel other feelings. Okay, so this is a very quick, very simple exercise, and you can even more simplify it. You can just use this crumble paper with a crumble ball instead of doing all these lines. But if you have opportunity, you can use the whole exercise. And at the end, if you want, you always can do field lines. You can use a different highlighter and just create 2, maybe 3 lines that will connect you and synchronize you with the universe. It will remind you that you are not alone, that everything that happens in your life has a beautiful purpose, even if you don't see it right now, even if it feels painful. It's okay. You will notice a little bit later, maybe not even a little bit, maybe it will require some years to understand the purpose of what is going on with you right now. But there is a purpose, there is a synchronicity, there is a wisdom in what you are experiencing right now. And maybe it will guide you to make, it always will guide you to become a better person, to have a better life. Sometimes it's through the dark times, but it's okay. In the darkest times, we always focus on the light. Like, what is the light in this? I'll show you the drawing, what I had on Friday we've done. So this is my today. So this was on Friday. And this one I've done with just uniball pen instead of marker. So it looks a little bit cleaner because just finer lines. So you don't really need markers, you don't really need fancy color pencils to release the stress. You need just paper and maybe any pen or any pencil. It could be just a regular pencil. Okay, so this was the first exercise, crumble paper. You see.
Anna, again, a question for me.
Okay.
So, but for the sticky notes, what was the point of sticky note? Also to crumble and draw just on a little space, or?
No,
Was
the
it different one?
sticky notes was to show you that, like, if you, the best exercise is when we do catharsis exercise. And if we don't have enough time, we can do the catharsis on much smaller piece of paper. Like if you have a meeting, stressful meeting with your boss, or maybe when you, after you need to release some stress after phone call or some kind of unpleasant discussion, you can release the stress on a sticky note and round it, and it will take you only 5-10 minutes, so you don't really need to spend 2 hours or an hour to, and this pen does not really cooperating with me, so you can just start rounding this catharsis and do it all steps as we always do on algorithm of lifting inner constraint. And it will be enough for you. So this size really doesn't matter. So it's we can use a much bigger piece of paper, and if you feel like, okay, so this is the only reason we're doing it on such a small paper is like to save some time and feel this satisfaction and to feel this much faster.
All right, but with scrambled paper, we don't really have the catharsis. We just follow the.
Yes, yeah. For the
grid
paper,
lines.
we just the scrambling itself is already the catharsis. Like when we have this physical action to release the stress. Like
but do we have to take a breath hold when we scramble the paper, or we don't have, or we just scramble it and thinking about what's going on?
So the breathing is always a good point to pay attention. And when we're paying attention to our breathing way, we always changing the focus from the mind running in our head. So we like really, if you can focus on the breathing, it's okay, and it's very beneficial. But it's right now I want you to don't overwhelm yourself with, oh, I need to pay attention to this and this and that. Sometimes you just need to take piece of paper and crumble it, and if it's not helping, you can tear it apart and take another piece of paper. So this is just like how you can help yourself when you're really stressed, like really stressed. And you can do the crumble paper at the beginning, another paper, and do catharsis after this one. Sometimes the pressure inside of us is so high that we need to use all tools together. So this is my sticky note catharsis. But if you have a pleasure, luxury of time, you can do just catharsis on a regular size paper and do the whole process, and it will be helping. But this we're talking when we don't have enough time, or when we don't have enough energy to do it, like because it requires some time and energy even start to do some exercises.
Yeah. And what do you think would be the best for teenagers to do while they like arguing or having some stress at school? Would be better to scramble the paper, or better to do the catharsis exercise?
So for teenagers, they usually are not so patient. And of course, catharsis is the best, but sometimes they like, Mom, you're offering like, this is stupid. I don't want to do anything, especially with boys. Like girls are more receptive about any drawings, but boys, maybe scrambled paper can release the stress and they can do the catharsis that they can start to rounding and you can finish for them. So it's perfect if they can finish, but it's in idle world. So I have my two boys and they're very skeptical that this may help. And sometimes I'm just like, okay, you do just a catharsis, like just express it on paper, and I will, and it will help them to release it, to let it go at some point. And when they see how it's changed, even just witness how it's changing could be helpful for them. They don't really have to sit and watch all the time, but I usually like, look how beautiful it's happened from what you just expressed on paper. There will be some point of healing in this one. Of course, the best if they can do it themselves.
But what they have to finish, they have to do catharsis and round it, and the rest, if they don't have time or don't want it, we can just let them go.
They
right?
even sometimes only catharsis will be enough.
Also, okay, cool.
And
good
like
to know.
if they can do rounding, it helps a lot. But if they say like, no, I don't have time to do it, I don't want it, like they in a very strict like resistance, don't push themselves. Like they already stressed, like don't make another stress about like, no, it's round this way, no, you're doing it wrong. No. So let them express some of the pressure, and you as a mother will start rounding, and it will help you to calm down yourself. And when you're calm, they will be automatically resonate with this, and they will be more at peace and more at ease. When you don't stress about their stress, they will be relaxed. And it's like you will accept them as they are. Even it's okay. So it's okay. Stress is okay sometimes. This is really what makes us to change and find new solutions and grow as person. Like muscles will not grow if they're not stressed, and personality is not grow if it's not stressed. So we really need it. But how we can calm ourselves down, so when it's not healthy stress anymore, when it's not when it's too overwhelming. So because stress can break us as humans, as person. Okay,
thank you.
You're welcome. Next exercise, I'm like, one of the simplest exercises and very beautiful. It's called 40 circles, 40 circles, 40 circles. So this I've done in green color. This I've done on Friday in red colors. This is you will be amazed how simple it is. This is just done by pencil. So you can take any size of paper. This is a half of a letter size, almost half of the letter size. This is about letter size, just a little bit bigger. So let me take plain paper. And I prefer, like I really highly encourage you to use not markers, but just color pencils. And any color you want. It could be your favorite one, or maybe something that really wants to be expressed right now. Okay, so today I'm going to use my violet color. And what we are going to do, we are going to just draw 40 circles, different sizes, different places, they overlap, they could be next to each other. If they are not perfect, if you're not satisfied with the shape of the circle, you can correct it several times. And sometimes you start drawing a small one and it wants to be bigger, and circles could be inside of another circle. And you may count 40 circles, or maybe just let it go and allow yourself just draw as many as you need. Like really, circle represents harmony and peace and balance. And we just allow ourselves to invite this harmony and balance in our life. Another thing that you want to try, notice which direction do you draw your circles. Like right now, I'm drawing clockwise, and maybe you try to draw counterclockwise and see, maybe it's different feelings, maybe different emotions, because it's a completely different physical action, different experience. And see how it works. And I create even bigger circles that going beyond the edges to make sure that my circles are not isolated and that they are connected to the world beyond my piece of paper. Because piece of paper is really not limiting my life, not limiting my soul. And this is just a teeny tiny, like a teeny tiny portion of what is going on inside of me. And you can add big and small, and you can create bigger ones. And if you want, you can create a very big ones inside. You don't try to make it perfect or beautiful. The beauty will be created in all different shapes and all different sizes. In versatility, this is and uniqueness. And even we drawing the same exercise, each of us will have completely different outcome and differently beautiful final shape. So just try to see if your drawing is well balanced, like when we have this enough connections to each side that we are not. And I need to sharpen my pencil. For kids, even just drawing of circles could be very healing. That sometimes, like, it's a very complex concept that we need to round each corner. Allow them just draw circles. Again, it's they may want try to round them or not. It's okay. We don't really stress about roundings. Like, roundings should be fun and should be conscious actions. Like, you cannot force to anybody to deal with conflicts, and respect it. So don't be stressed about, oh, now I have to round everything. Sometimes just drawing circles is enough to relax. And if it's enough, it's already good result. I have a client and she really enjoyed drawing circles, but her wrist is tight. And when she started to round all these crossings, it was a painful experience for her. So if it's a painful experience for you, set it aside. Maybe it's enough for you. Maybe it's enough to release the stress. So listen to your body, see what does it try to tell you. And I invite you to draw 2, 3, maybe 4 narrow lines to connect all these beautiful circles. And they just running from one side to another. They can feel lost or dissolved in all these circles, and it's okay. And some of them go far, some of them stay very close, and they can cross each other. Okay, so
Anna,
now,
if you feel the desire to round, is it okay to round?
yes, yes, next step, we tried to round each corner. So, but again, if it's causing any pain in your hands, if it's causing any discomfort, don't push yourself too hard. Like, we really don't have to be finishing all these exercises. Like, you can use simple steps from something you can take from this exercise, something you can take from another exercise. You can do a scramble paper and draw 40 circles on top of it, and it will be maybe much more healing if you and don't round anything. And if it's helping to you, it really doesn't matter if you followed all steps or not. I'm like, my goal to release the stress. And and it's okay if I don't finish anything. Of course, we are so perfectionists, and like for some of you could be not finishing exercise as it meant to be can cause another stress. And in this case, I give you permission, do not finish it. I personally like to round corners because at the end, it looks so beautiful. It's like, it's a mesmerizing, like really, like all these balloons together, they are changing, and it's very interesting, even just trace which circle is more defined, which is not. And sometimes a small circle can be very well defined, and bigger are dissolved and losing its edges. So this is just a simple exercise. How we rounding this corners. It really helps to master the rounding of corners, like really. And it's noticed that because if we're working with color pencils, it's a different experience compared to markers. We have this new experience with pressure, like when we have it may control the pressure on pencil and see how it's changing, how the color may become bolder, brighter, or it can be very gentle and very pale. So this is an opportunity just to see how to work with pencils, because you can do catharsis with pencils as well, and sometimes it's even better, especially if you do big catharsis that requires several seconds, or if you use a bigger piece of paper, that marker will be even fine Sharpie will be broken. It will be, if it's a real catharsis, it will be gone after. But pencils can be just sharpened. And Thank you for asking about children, how we can use it for teenagers, because I'm honestly, when I was preparing the class, I did not think much about giving it as a teenager help, but it's actually very good tool. And I'm like, why I've never think that it can be very helpful for teenagers. Maybe I need to teach my kids how to release the stress.
It's just because we all staying home, you know. Some other issues came, they just rise it from anything, and everybody's stressed. And I just realized that probably when they go to school, we have less issues than other than when we all stuck in a home.
Yes, and it's interesting. I believe that kids maybe have the same amount of stress. It's just concentrated in the same environment and like with the same people. That's why it looks like, oh, they stressed all the time. They probably stressed the same amount at school, maybe even more, but it's kind of we don't really witness that stress, and it's spread it through the other people and teachers. So this is an opportunity to see really how our kids dealing with the stress and teach them by showing how you dealing with the stress as well. Yeah, it's an interesting time for them, especially for teenagers, of course, but even for the younger ones, like those ones who just started school, elementary school, and so much changes, and it's very important for their health that their parents stay calm, stay balanced, and stay present, like because emotionally present. We can still cook and still clean and still check homework, but emotionally not available. This is the scariest option. It's like when your body is here and you believe that you're doing your duty, but emotionally you're distant from kids. This, like, do something to help yourself and you will automatically will help your kids as well. So
Well, sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
Yeah, I was learning about the autistic children because they do repetitive motions and they're angry. And I think this the scramble paper, it will be excellent to kind of, because some of them to calm themselves, they kind of like, what am I going to say, hitting themselves on the cheeks. So to avoid that, because they can hurt themselves. It would be very good exercise, give them like piece of paper scrambled. Of course, they would not able to follow all the lines, but caregiver or teacher or whatever it's there would be able to finish for them to calm them down. And because art is actually very good for autistic children or any sort of autism. That's what I was learning.
yes, it's really helping, but with autistic children, there is such a complex such a complex issue, or that it's hard to say that everything will work like this. It will work for all autistic children. Like, you need to offer them different instruments and see very carefully, see what is working for them, what is not, because some of this, and autistic children, for them it's not just on psychological issue, it's a physical differences. I cannot say like it's just a different biology and chemistry in them. So I'm not even I was working with special needs kids. Oh, it's not so simple. Like and it requires a lot of research, and it requires a lot of patience, and it requires a lot of one-on-one exercises. And it's I believe that caregivers who are working with special needs kids, like really trying different, like and it's, you never know, for one kids it's may be very helpful, for another it may trigger the whole list of emotions and patterns that they try to avoid, and it will cause more stress. So I cannot I cannot say that, like, oh, let's try to do it for everyone. It will be helpful. With special needs kids, you need to be very, very careful, very patient, and try on a small scale and see how they accept it. And like, it's just a lot of uncertainty with those beautiful souls, and it's really I cannot say, because I'm not an expert in working with special kids. I'm like, really, my experience to work with them is very limited, and there is always a school counselor, and there is a different scale of this autistic kids. But I believe that art is healing, and of course, but it's you need to be very careful what kind of art you offering them. For some it will be working with clay, for another is drawing, for another it can be some painting. It's there is that's why everything can be art. Everything is art, and it's you just need to find the right tool for the right person, for the right kid, for the right adult, and just be very cautious about it. So but yes, I believe it could be helpful for them. So
Anna, what I see in your drawing, you don't have a circle that it's absolutely
isolated.
Yes.
Yes, because my goal was to make sure that everything is connected.
Okay, but if I do have isolated, I can just leave it like that, or I have to somehow connect with Neuroline with other circles, or it's not the point?
Look at your look at this circle, and does it feel lonely? Does it feel really isolated, or is it just or maybe it's looks limited by something? So see what kind of how do you resonate with this circle that is like, does it feel left behind? If it does, make sure that it's connected. You can bring a Neuroline or draw another circle next to it and just integrate it. But it's just be careful, see how it resonates. Sometimes I have some isolated circles, sometimes I don't. It's there is so many of them, and that it's hard to say that like every drawing is different. Let's see if I have any. Yeah, the most beautiful drawing happens when there is so many overlapping circles, and this is but yeah, isolated could be. And if you paid attention to it, it's important for you. So explore this, like learn something about yourself. How do you feel? And maybe it's a small circle that is isolated and you want to connect it, or maybe it's a big circle that is just prefer to stand alone and be independent. This is we're working with symbols. Each circle may represent a symbol. And if you want to go to next level, you may, when you draw circles, you may start thinking, what good has happened to me today or this week? Somebody smiled to me, I cooked very beautiful and very tasty food, or maybe I heard a very good news about a friend of mine. Or maybe it was just a sunny day and it was already beautiful. So you may start collecting all these beautiful, harmonious, balanced experiences in your life and see how many you can invite in your life. Because when you recognize how much you have already, you inviting more and more in your life. Again, so I have a very big size of paper for this exercise. You can have a half of it, or you can make even smaller. It could be, I don't know, I've never done it on sticky note, but you can create, you can use a, like I have card size, like this ones, and you can make a drawing on this size, and it will be as powerful, as beautiful. And you even can create a memory for you and make a note what you are grateful for, and it will be very healing and very inspiring card for you. You can carry it on in your wallet if you want. That's a good idea. Maybe we'll create sometimes something like this.
But when we do those circles, when we draw them, should we think about something, or we just draw them from inside?
So again, when you are stressed, like really stressed, you don't need to think much about it. Like, make it as simple as possible. You just start drawing. You don't even have to count. You just draw circles and allow yourself to see, allow this body be activated. Because when we activate fine motor skills, we activate our mind, we activate neuron system, and we activate this very encoded symbol of harmony. Like we bringing this physical harmony in our body, like physical harmony activation. I don't know if it makes any sense, but
okay.
Thank you for questions. I'm like, really, it's such a pleasure to answer all of them. Makes interaction very alive and dynamic. I highly appreciate your questions. Okay, and you may try to do it with different colors and see that every time it will be different experiences. Sometimes you need to release red color, sometimes you need to release green color, and it's don't try to analyze which color represents what. Trust your intuition, trust your body, trust your feelings. Today I feel like I need to use my orange or maybe yellow. This, what needs to be expressed, you will feel it. You will really find this color. And don't afraid to release black color. Black color is very important and could be very healing. Like, again, don't try to see the darkness. When we bring the darkness from our soul, it's an opportunity to see the light again as well. Like, we are so focused on light that and I'm like, I used to be the same way, but the darkness, what's really, I don't talk about evil darkness. I talk about this, just different energies. Like it helps you to ground yourself, to feel connected to the earth, to feel connected to the nature. Yin yang sign, this black and white sign, is really representing the balance between black and white. It's we need both of those qualities, and I don't like, again, the same philosophical question. Like I believe that we don't understand or identify the darkness correctly. I'm not inviting evil in my life. I invite presence in my life, like a presence of my energy, presence of my body, my feminine energies as well. The in yang, darkness represents feminine energies. When we receive, when we accept, when we don't initiate but support and nurture, with nurturing. It's a motherhood. So much sacred stuff happening in the darkness. It's like if you try to identify what is more important, day or night, they are just different. And it's we both need. I'm like, it's interesting. It's already several times this question, but what is the darkness itself represents? What does it mean for myself? How I identify? And it's like, this is a very big question. I don't have the straight answer right now. Like, what is the darkness for me? But I feel like the only thing I think that it's I don't know the answer. This is the only answer I have. I don't know what it means for me. So, and again, we are not talking about black magic or evil or devil or anything else. It's just different energies. Like I don't invite those energies. I'm just, but how I can invite the darkness that is built in the nature. So this is not, when we try to round all these corners, this is not express method. This becomes like very long, sometimes long exercise. And again, it's very calming because you're repeating the same action over and over again. And it's could be very, very healing, very, it's a meditation. It's like really how I can stop my mind, allow myself just do simple action and believe that it will be beautiful. Just allow myself to witness how the beauty is born from the chaos. Like, because we have to agree that at the beginning, even after we create all these 40 circles, it's quite a messy drawing. It's not a piece of art, But how? Just repeating something simple. Chaos is transforming to the beautiful, very interesting, mesmerizing, fascinating art. Like really, I can look at this movements, like this fluid movements, and find new shapes, find new inspirations. And of course, if you want, you can add additional colors on top of it, and it will be completely different experience. But even without color, even just lines are already inspiring, and it's already what's the word I was looking for? And it's already beautiful. The beauty could be very simple. So I don't encourage you to do different shapes but circles when we do the same exercise. Other shapes could be like if you try to use do 40 triangles, each triangle is already representing some kind of conflict, and it may represent leadership, but the conflict is already built in every triangle, and it's like at least 3 conflicts. And if you create 40 triangles, it will be too much energy activated, and it could be dangerous. You may, the first temptation will be to express this energy on somebody near to you, like somebody close to you, because especially when we isolate it, when we don't have a lot opportunities to exercise, physically exercise maybe, or activate some business ideas and do like really make it work, make like when we have all so much energy, we need to express it, we need to make it work, we need to release it in healthy way. Because if it's there's too much energy and no outlet and no channeling of it, it will be scandals and it will be conflict, and this is we need to be very, very careful. It's already enough in our lives. So circles, we're drawing circles and circles, and it may look boring for some of you, but it's keep drawing, because harmony, we need it as much as possible. If you will need to activate some energy related to your business, it's a different exercise, and let me know, so we will work on it separately. But when we need to release stress, we work with circles. We don't try to activate, we need to balance. We need to relax. Like the circles really gives me the sense when we're relaxing. And when we relaxed, we activate this built-in mechanism of self-healing, connections to the everybody and everything. And it reminds me that everything is a cycle. So even if it's not a harmonious way right now, it shall pass. Because it's a cycle of life. And I just need to go through these challenging times and find harmony on another side of this cycle.
And have you drawn 40 circles with different colors, or it always should be in one color?
So if you use different colors, there will be some challenging integrating them in one drawing, because
right.
there will be some. I have a client who used this magic colors, like magic pencils, and I will show you some of them for next exercise. That's really how you can use them, how you can integrate. But it's
yeah, I just forgot about the integration of colors.
yeah, there is
Yeah.
some, like you can use 2-3 colors, and when you rounding, it will be, you just need to remember, like whenever we have a crossing of 2 lines, let me find a piece of clean paper. Like when we have, for example, I use, let's say, 2 colors, like green and light green. I have, it's hard to see. Okay, so we have darker color and lighter color. Whenever we have crossing of these 2 colors, we always for rounding use the lighter color. Like we use light green to integrate with the darker one. And it's, so it will help you to blend better, because it's not lighter is better blending with darker. If you try to integrate with darker, you will create these spikes, dark spikes that will be very noticeable on light lines. So it's possible, but it will be like you need to make a gradient and try to dissolve it, and almost repeating this the whole line, you will lose this light color. So whenever we do rounding, we always round with the light colors. A little bit extra. Oh, it's it's better. It would be better if I just take much smaller piece of paper. I'm like, now everyone will spend an hour rounding, because we need to finish this. Make sure that this is finished and beautiful. Again, like just drawing circles could be calming. And if you don't have time to round all those corners, it's okay. Start just drawing, just calm some of it, some of this energy that is boiling inside of you. Like allow yourself to invite this harmony, this balance in your life, in the moment, right now. I need a balance, and you draw and draw as many circles. So this, why is it 40 circles? Like even we don't really count them, the 40 is a sacred number, and it actually gives you the balance between feminine and masculine energies. It's a considered sacred number, and it's in every culture there is some associations with 40 days or 40 something. That's very respectful to this number. It usually represents some kind of transformation, some kind of going on a different level. So,
Anna, so if after you've finished rounding all the circles, if you decide you want to add some other color like inside the circles, can you do that?
yes, you can color some of it. And it will be beautiful drawing. So you can use the same rules as we usually do for any other exercises. Like when you color, you connect several segments together. And it's, again, it's not necessary you need to color separate circles. You may color just any unusual shapes that you see on your drawings, like something that you want to explore, and maybe flow of colors that can go from one side to another. If you want, if you not calm enough, you may create this much more bolder field lines, all that are going through the whole drawing. This is an opportunity too. And we just you can do it with marker. It's not necessary you need to do it with pencil. And you can do it with just with a black pen or blue pen or any color pen, like on any size, as an exercise to calm yourself. Like, I highly recommend to teach your kids to draw circles, just to draw circles, like not even rounding, just circles. It's already calming, the process of round and round. And next exercise, I'll show you something that really doesn't require much rounding. So and maybe that exercise will be very good for kids. Coming back to this exercises with autistic children. So right now I'm taking classes, the course, how we can use Neurographica with children. And some of this, that I was surprised that after some of these exercises that we are learning, very powerful, the teacher is really like emphasizing, you never do this exercise with autistic children because it could be overwhelming. And it's so it's very sensitive subject with any children, not even with special needs, but sometimes we need to be very careful and clearly understand where we have limitations or not enough knowledge. So I'm like very cautious about it. Okay, I'm almost done. I'm so happy I'm almost done. So it was a little bit, I'm not sure like how many circles I have, but it looks like much more than 40. So So how did you like to use color pencil for roundings? It's different, not as markers. So
I'm not
just-
enjoying it as much.
You are not?
Well, I'm finding that I think I'm using a lot more pressure, so I'm getting a lot of tingling in my hand, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's just the subject, or I don't know, maybe it's. But I feel like I'm pressing really hard, and my hands going tingly and numb.
Okay. Okay. So if there is some stress in your hand, of course, you don't have to finish this. Like if it's causing pain, set it aside. It's like, I don't want stress exercise cause more stress than relaxation. So be very, this great opportunity to learn which instruments work for you, which are not. Like be very cautious about like, okay, so this is not my tool. So some people love color pencils, some don't, and then you need to be very honest with you. What, and it's not, doesn't matter like, oh, I don't like it, maybe something wrong with me. No, nothing wrong. You are just don't like it. It's okay, simple. So you can do it with a marker and try to see, maybe it will be completely different sensations. Maybe what else can be?
I'm enjoying the color, and at the same time, it is harder to do the 40 circles with a pencil for the same reason. It causes some discomfort in the wrist, but I know to stop when I need to stop.
Okay, I'm glad that you really listen to you. So this is a opportunity to learn something new about yourself. Okay, so this is, and it's information for me. Thank you for sharing that. Maybe it's too much. Maybe it's, and we all notice how the body is really involved in this, like how much we activate our body when we draw with pencil, but it's could be comfortable or it could be discomfortable, and it's nobody is
Well, I used to
not
pick up
affected.
paper like you did too, so that's part of it, I think.
Okay, so mine is done. You can color it if you want, or you can just leave it as it is and just set aside and see. Maybe next time you want to color it, or maybe you can, next time you want to add more color, more circles on it, or maybe new lines that will connect everything if it's not connected yet. So again, this is a little bit exercise to release. And again, like if we just draw circles, it will be already somehow helping and releasing some energy. Like if you don't feel comfortable rounding corners, do not round them. It's will be enough, just draw. Okay, let's see what I'm looking. Next exercise. Exercise number 3. Okay, so I want to use today, like I promised one of my students, to show that this magic color pencils. You can use just regular pencils. I use Kohinoor pencils, and they blend of 3 colors, different shades. And what I'm going to do, so for example, I'll take one of them, and this exercise in Neurographica is called Circles of Admiration. And what we're doing, again, when we need to release some stress, we start drawing circle any size, and we just coloring like a, keep drawing like a spiral very, very tight spiral that really helps us to color everything. You can use any color pencils. You can use markers if you want. And we can just repeat, like slowly, really color them. This is helps you to have this round motion, like really harmonious motion. And it's just repetition is like could be very calming, and you can connect it. You can fill the gaps if you want. It's really not a big deal if you go across. And if you want, you can take another color and draw another one. And when we are doing, like we pay attention that we are drawing circles in a counterclockwise direction, counterclockwise. And again, we just coloring. And it's interesting, there is not much really significant difference in this pencils. Like I don't really see much shades of blue. That is. And I can take another one. And they can be different sizes. And you can use a different speed. And just allow yourself to draw several of them. They can overlap if you have only smaller piece of paper. Let's see if I can do the overlapping ones. And try different speed. And you don't really need to worry about rounding. So allow yourself just draw different ones. So, and if you feel like you want to increase ones, you can increase them as well. So just round. See if I want.
I have a question.
Okay.
So why it should be only counterclockwise? Is it something specific?
In specific, like we're working with symbols. And usually in Neurographica, when we draw clockwise in this direction, we are starting something new. When
Okay.
we counterclockwise, like when we're going clockwise, like there is a archetypes of beginnings, like when we start in growing something, increasing something. But when we go counterclockwise, we're initiating some endings, some going, not growing, but depleting something. So it's like when we want to initiate letting go of stress, like really we don't want to make it bigger, we want to collapse, not collapse, but release it, like minimize it, consciously minimize it. It's we use counterclockwise.
I got it. Thank you. I just curious.
And I had like I heard like very magical stories that there was one woman that had a very sick, and like I don't know, maybe I cannot say that what was the diagnosis, but it was like very frustrating diagnosis for her. Like, and the only thing that she was doing, she was drawing this counterclocks circles and releasing this thickness from her, like let it go. I'm ending this sickness. I'm let it go, let it go. And after some time, it wasn't like in one day, maybe a week or 10 days, this the healing process was much more defined, and there was a very clear sign that she will be recovering from this sickness. So it's but it's from the magic stories. Yeah, so there is some healing in endings. When we can end something, it could be very powerful as well. So we can just use this energy. And this is a very, maybe this is even better and easier for children to do. Like, and it could be very colorful and very dynamic for them, because they can use a different speed, they can use different pencils, different qualities. I'm like, really, I have a different magic colors. Maybe we can try this one. Oh, this is more colorful. This
Is there a difference between starting on the outside in or the inside out?
From outside in. It's like a spiral that is, instead of growing, it's going to the minimum, going to the center. Like really, we are from outside counterclockwise, like it's a double minimizing. It's a counterclockwise, and it's really going inside. So it's and I have such, oh, it's a colorful magic color. So this is, see, like it could be very interesting with magic colors, like pencils. Kids love this magic pencils, but any pencils can be very beautiful. Let's say, like if I do the
Well, how
red
about if
one.
you're going from inside to outside? What does that mean?
From inside to outside?
Mm-hmm. Like I start the circle in the middle, in the
Like
center.
if we do,
See, right now you're doing outside to inside. I'm talking about starting on the inside and going outward.
it's more like a spirals, and it's usually it's like when we want to increase something.
Thank you.
With spirals, and it's again, spirals can go different directions. They can go counterclockwise and clockwise, and it's a whole new subject about spirals, and it's they have different purposes. Right now, I don't really encourage you to be focused on it, because it just makes life more complex. Like try to see what is what you have right now, like to use what you already have. Oh, I'm really enjoying this, just different speeds, and see how it's working. And you really don't need to worry about all this roundings, because I know for kids it can be roundings, could be stressful, and it's colorful. And if they can overlap and can look, keep still look beautiful.
Hey, Anna.
Yes.
For some reason, I can't get you to come up on my big screen anymore. I got kicked out, and then now I can't get you to come up on the big screen. I can see you really tiny, but I can't make you big again for some reason.
So can you click on the small one and it's
yeah, it says I'm on you, but it's blank.
Try to switch to somebody else and come back to me, or you can.
Yeah, I did that.
Okay, and you can exit the room and try to enter again.
Okay. It's not that big of a deal. I'll just leave it.
Or another thing that you can do, like in the right corner, upper corner, there is a gallery view where when you can see everybody together, and it's maybe.
Yeah, you're black. You're black.
I'm black.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Now you're gone completely. Actually, now you're gone. I can't even see you in the little one anymore now. So
Okay.
I'll
So,
exit and I'll come back.
okay. So good luck. I'll pay attention to who is asking to join
Okay.
us. Okay. So yes, we have this technical difficulties now, and it's always interesting how computers and electronics really resonates with the whole intensity and emotional intensity with people, and right now it's a very intense time for everybody, not just for Americans, but for everybody. Okay.
And I also have a question. So when we do this inside, sometimes it's when I do, especially when I do in a quick speed, I have those white left. Should I come? Can I come back and color them again, or I just have to leave it?
I usually just go and just color them. So
Okay.
I want them to be more consistent. Some of this, like, I can leave, but some of them, like if it's a very big gaps, I can just shade it, like just color it. So it really doesn't matter like which. You can come back and fix something. So this is a very simple exercise. You can finish it, and this is a very good one with kids. So you can work with this as well. This is something that I did not give on Friday, so I think this would be interesting. And I have 1 or 2 more exercises. We'll see. We'll see how it's going. So one more exercise that I want to show you. Let me see that we already like final outcome, so you know what you're doing. Oh, something dropped. So this is one of the drawings that I had. And on Friday, this was the drawing on Friday. So this is exercise when you don't really have any specific topic, but you have this restless mind, and it's like really going on crazy, and you feels like you're stuck somewhere. You may start just releasing this endless mind, endless thoughts on the paper, and you're doing it by, it seems like only a few of us enjoyed color pencils. Let's just do the marker this time. And you start drawing narrow lines just anywhere they're going. And each narrow line will represent some kind of thought. We don't need to know what kind of thought it is, what we are thinking about. We're just releasing, like thoughts are going through our head, through our mind, through our brain, and it's okay. They cross each other and they will let them go. We just draw narrow lines. It's really look like exercise when we learn how to draw narrow lines. And you may start from any sides and go any directions, like, because really sometimes we don't know where the thought began and where did it end. And we can just, and we allow ourselves just explore this. How does it go? Where it goes? How our body reacts? And when we have a few lines, we notice that there are some areas where thoughts are really start cross each other. They really start interact to each other. And this is like a nexus where so many thoughts are going to. So this is a very important area. And I want to identify these crossings by drawing a circle, like this different thoughts crossing each other, and they create an idea now. So there is some idea, and I can create an idea here. It's not like I'm creating, but I identify, I accept, okay, there is so much energy is going on here. I accept it as maybe there is something important here. You don't need to know what it is. You just allow yourself to witness it, to see it and kind of check mark. Okay, so here is the energy. I have to pay attention to this. And there could be some smaller crossings. And again, like the size of circles is not defined by how much energy is going there, but how, pay attention how much you want to do it. Like this is really helps you to release this restless mind, restless ideas, and we just, sometimes the small ones, crossings can create very intense ideas. And if you want, you can add more lines and see. You start thinking about it and see which way those lines are going. For some reason, this idea is like really. And if you want, you may, not if you want, like allow yourself just wonder, what is it? Like what I'm thinking about all the time? What is so important that all my thoughts are connected to this one? What am I always feeding so much energy to, like what I'm creating? And just try to see, and when we start rounding all these corners and calm down our thoughts, because we already allow them to be expressed and be seen, we may have a very clear understanding, what is it? What I'm spending so much time thinking about? What is it really creating? What kind of ideas I'm creating? And see how this idea is connected to other things that are going on around you. And maybe it requires something that, like, maybe it requires some help, maybe it requires some support, and you may draw something that really will be helping, but we will talk about a little bit later. So now when I have several circles, I start rounding. Again, like you may add more circles, you may add more lines at any time you feel like it's needed. So this first, we need to release this restless mind, like relax it, let it be seen, let it be accepted as it is. And next, when we have this too much energy is going on in our brain, when it's relaxed, we start focusing on what is the main ideas are happening in my head. And it's when I have enough rest, when I have enough relaxation, I will be noticing that I can names, like I can give specific names to each circle. Oh, this is what is the idea is about. This is what is important for me. And So you don't, if you don't feel like, oh, if you don't know how to name it, if you don't have this clear ideas, like, don't force anything. Stay with this. Stay with the uncertainties. Stay with this wonder, surprise. Accept it as unknown, and it will be okay. Sometimes it could be secret. Sometimes it could be wonder. Sometimes you thinking about some experiences that's never happened to your body, to your mind, to your emotions. Like, for example, lately I'm like, all the time I'm thinking about this. What is the light and dark? And it's not all the time, like, but how to identify for myself what does it, what is it for me? What, maybe this is a what I'm drawing right now. Maybe it's idea about this. And allow the topic may come as a at the very, very end, like you already finished the drawing and suddenly you can, oh, this is what was this drawing about. It's not so at the end as a resolution you may understand what you were working with, because on our mind we not always know what is right now is the most important for us. You think that like business project is very important for us, but maybe health of your child or health of your self is so profound, is so needed your attention that of course what is the most important wants to be shown, allow it to be seen. Like allow your subconscious mind to release something that you are not aware. Or maybe you think that the health of your is important, but for you is actually the most important is right now to something else.
So this specific exercise is calm down the mind, right?
Yes, yeah. Feel this not garbage of thoughts, but like I accept them, like let them be seen. Everything let them seen and allow them to see like how they really communicate to each other. So I see that, like, for example, I have big circle, I have a small circle, and now I see that between them created even smaller circle, and I want just to accept it as a circle. And I don't know, like, what is this? So many ideas.
So it's like cleaning up your subconscious clutter.
Yes, exactly. Like, thank you for the, like, really identifying it. And it's, again, you don't really need to do the catharsis about it. Like, it's not, it could be very relaxing, very peaceful. I love to do this exercise when I want to just calm down myself. And when I have this anxiety or worries about some kind of, for example, my son's performances, like, and so much things like, oh, is he going to do his moves as it should be? Or he is a dancer, and sometimes he goes on the competitions, and it's really helps me to relax. And I don't need to activate this big catharsis because nothing really bad is happening. I'm just want to like explore what I need to calm down right now, like how I can be peacefully calm down without really activating any big emotions. Like emotions become big when they were ignored for a very long time, or maybe they suppressed. This is just observe, like, okay, so let me see what is going on in my mind. And you may be surprised, my mind is quite still, or maybe, oh my gosh, so much going on in my mind, like really how I can help myself to relax. And the best is like if you pay attention, how do you breathe? How do you really do you meditate? How you can calm down? This is another way to meditate, like art meditation. And I want to create this beautiful circle. And you can add as many circles as needed, as you wish. And sometimes you may notice that some of the curves already creating part of the circle, and you just need to define them and see how they really connect to each other, how they interact. And just be with this. I don't know, for some reason I feel like this stress release exercises could be needed, like they always needed, but they could be needed even more soon. Which is, we have the tool. It's not necessary you do it on a big piece of paper. You can adjust the size of a paper to any size, to any time period you have. So if you have plenty of time, you can do the big size. If you have only few minutes, make it smaller, make it more compact.
So Anna, you don't need to, it sounds like I don't need to know the content or the context of what all the crossing thoughts are. Just when I'm rounding and working on this and I start feeling more calm, then it's doing whatever it needs to do.
Yes, yeah. So this is like really you may start it without topic. You may start it with just, okay, let's see what is going on in my head right now. And sometimes just relaxation, your mind is a great topic itself. You don't need to really identify any priorities at this moment. You just let it be seen. Sometimes you
it's
can
still
have a
working
very,
though, right? It's
one
still
more time.
looking at different issues that are on the paper.
Yes,
Even though
yeah. Another thing that like sometimes when you're working on a big topic, let's say you're working on on a relationship, and you can make it connected to this big case, for example, that you're working. But if you don't know where to go or what is the priorities right now, you start just releasing those thoughts and experiences because each line is representing a thought, and thoughts lead energy and it leads emotions. So, and when you just allow yourself to follow those thoughts, to follow those lines, and pay attention to your body, to your emotions, to your insights, you will be surprised that topic may come very clear at the end or not. Again, don't be stressed about topic. Allow yourself just explore it and see. Don't have this expectation that, oh, everything should be clear to me by that time. So it will be at some point. And maybe the topic will be like, maybe I don't need to know the answer right now. Maybe right now I just need to trust, and this is a leap of faith that I have to take. And it's a beauty and joy in trust, like really in my faith.
Thank you.
Faith. I know that this uncertainty can be very challenging and stressful for some people, but just try something different, and it could be new opportunities and new possibilities for you.
And if I do like to use color pencils, I can do this project in a color pencil as well?
Yes, you can. Yeah. So I believe one of them was like, yes, on Friday I did with color pencils. You see this turquoise color I did. And this I did with the marker. Markers always have this more defined lines, but color pencils have just a different quality. It's not as defined, but it's a more trust, like you need to trust.
It's more smooth, like.
Yes, it's a
because
softer. It's softer. And you color the same on top of, even if you use color pencil, you still color on top of it.
Oh.
It's a very easy, from this one is very easy to create like really beautiful fluent art, like really fluent art, like everything is moving, everything is dynamic, and it's
Anna,
yes,
where's mine?
let me see. Wait, I lost you. Oh, here you are. Okay, so what I noticed that your nail line's a little bit too direct.
I noticed that. I kept trying to make it different and it didn't.
So it means that right now maybe you know what you want right now and you're really focused on something. This is just like observe. Okay, so my thoughts are very direct. Do I want to make them look organic? Do I want them to look more curly or more wavy? So just ask this question to yourself and see, like if it doesn't want, it's okay. Again, see how the different priorities, it's like a very big idea, something is very important for you that is coming. And if you noticed, all the thoughts are going to one spot. And something is maybe even bigger and maybe more important is just beyond the paper,
Mm.
and
That's
something yes, something is there, but all the small 3 ideas that you have, they are quite supporting this big idea. So see where you want to start coloring, and what kind of energies, what kind of emotions will be involved. So you have several questions.
So
Do I want to make it look more organic? Do I want to add anything else? And how do I want to color it? So,
okay.
and when it will be colored, you see maybe you have more ideas like what is, oh, I love the color. It's a little bit pale to see on camera, but it's really like how is it, like a bubble bath.
Yeah.
It looks like a bubble bath. So it has a very interesting feeling to it, like really relaxation. Very playful color, very playful.
That's
Thank
probably
you.
where the pressure is coming in, is trying to get the color to show up.
Yes, and notice like that you can see mostly the intersections, but the lines between them is a very pale to see.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back for sure. And I'm not finished.
Don't be stressed about like if it's really causing some pain in your wrist, like in your arm. Be gentle to yourself. So
I think it's probably just a pinched nerve somewhere in my back or neck or something.
this is what stress is causing. so pay attention. It's like really you, like for those who are already drawing for quite time with me, I believe you notice that different topics really gives a very different sensations in body. It's may be represented in quality of lines, in quality of colors, and intensity of colors. All this experiences that seems like sometimes hard to notice when you trigger a very painful topic. And this usually we're inviting quite challenging topics. Suddenly everything is highlighted, everything is so intense and so well defined. So, and my lines are different and my shapes are different, and I want to use darker colors instead of, and it's just because your subconscious mind is just released something very important, very intense from your body. So accept it and explore it, like something new. You learn every day, you learn something new about yourself, and it's opportunity to really not just accept it, but find the beauty in it, find this endless energy resource in it. So I'm like really every time I'm drawing, and this week I had like so many drawings because I'm teaching several classes and I learning myself on several courses right now, and it's really every drawing is different. So on Friday we will have a class. We will read and we will repeat this class next Wednesday. The class will be about how we can prepare ourselves for the eclipses that are coming our way. And this is unusual type. It's 3 eclipses, 2 lunar eclipses and 1 solar eclipse that is happening. Like the first one will happen on Friday, and this is like really interesting. We will drawing almost during the lunar eclipse. I'm actually, no, let me take it my, like it will be the day of eclipse, but I'm not sure about the time. I need to double check Seattle time when it will be.
I believe it's at 12:12.
12:12?
If I remember correctly, yeah, PM.
Okay, so we will be right after, so we already in the eclipse, okay.
And after we're done with
Roundings?
roundings, we can start, how to remind, we can start with coloring.
Yes, voila, I finished with my roundings. See what I'm going to do next. I take any colors I want, and I have the same rules as always. I can color several segments. I can color separate circles, or I can color separate flows, like any shapes I want. So for example,
Like we can color it all round? Like all
not
circles?
necessary, not so, not all. Like you can color some of, like you see,
Okay.
I like
I
some
see.
waves, some circles. Some of them are important, some of them are not colored. And this one I colored mostly only circles, only few waves. So it's up to you. So
Okay.
just see what you want to. How do you feel about your drawing? What is wants to be? And again, circles can be colored like you may use multiple colors, different shades of colors in one circle. And if you want, you can unite one color or something on top of it, like shading that makes everything bolder. Or maybe you just leave it as a several colors and just explore it as it could be colorful. Just colorful, that's all.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, and and the flow can go across the whole drawings, or it can be just some part of it. So every time it could be different, and we just allow ourselves to be attuned to yourself and see, what do I want right now? How do I want to express my thoughts? How do I want to express my ideas? Which emotions, which reactions in my body does it initiate? So we're constantly learning about ourselves. So today I want to color everything very bright. This is interesting for me. I'm like usually, for last few days I was like, Mom, some of my drawings are very dark, and I'm like, okay, let's see this darkness, let's see the beauty in it. And it's
Anna,
yes.
last night when you were critiquing a picture, you talked about how there was darkness in the bottom of the picture, and you asked if she wanted to explore that. Is this a way you can explore it?
One more time, Ro.
Um, last night, somebody was showing their picture from the class.
Uh-huh.
And when you talked about it, at the very end, you were talking about the colors are darker on the bottom. And that means there's something deeper, I think you had said. I don't remember your exact word.
Yes.
And you
So,
asked if she wanted to do another one to explore that.
so when we have, especially when we work with lifting inner constraints exercise, there is big topics is always releasing in layers. And when we, and it's our opportunity to recognize those layers. Like, do you want just take a first layer and leave it as it is and be satisfied with with outcome, with relaxation, or you want to go deeper? And really, what on your drawings, usually there is some not like something that is like has a biggest charge. Like when you look at your drawings, you notice where is the energy, where is your attention is going on. Like really, what do you notice at the beginning, like right away? It could be, of course, the shape that you highlighted, but sometimes another shape, another color can be focusing, and it's you just pay attention. Where do you want to go? As a person that is out of like every drawing is related to you, and you emotionally connected to the drawing. Most times, sometimes you don't really recognize where is the energy is going, because you are the one who is like really giving this energy. Like you need you, it's hard to notice the elephant when you are sitting in the elephant.
Right.
So when you are standing next to the elephant, when you're looking from the outside, some things could be obvious. It's not necessarily true, but some things could be obvious. And I, as a trained instructor, may invite you to like, do you want to explore it or not? You always pay attention. Do I want? If you don't do it. But if it's like, oh, really? What is hidden there? Like, why do I really invest so much energy there? Why is it so dark compared to the rest of my drawing? And it may initiate another drawing when you go deeper, when you go on a different level of self-exploration.
With the same issue?
Well, it will be, yes, with the same issue. Like, for example, you may start working with my relationship, and you start my relationship with my husband, for example, and it may go on a deeper level, my relationship with my father, or maybe my relationship with my mother, or my relationship with myself. What do I expect from myself, and why? Because everything is connected. Like everything is beautifully connected and beautifully. It's a it's beautiful, but it's creates so much complexity, and that's why, like, when you failed something on your first relationship, like something that not developed well, it will create a snowball that will lead to other areas of your life, and you can just find where, like, every time you go deeper in the snowball and deeper until you find this very specific rock that started rolling down. So, and when you will release this rock, the whole snowball will fall apart. Like, this is an opportunity.
I just thought it was a really interesting observation. It gave me the realization that you can go super deep with this process.
Oh, it's a very deep. It's a multiple levels, and it's all. It could be very deep, very effective, and very gentle at the same time, because you identify how deep you want to go, how much energy you want to invest in this process right now, how much you're ready to integrate and accept. So you don't really need to go on the bottom of the problem right away. Maybe you need just to release some stress, and it will be enough for you right now to move to next level and stay on the next level as much as you need. And later, when you have enough time, maybe when you have enough desire, you go deeper, you go you explore something new, something, and find something powerful on a different level. So you don't really need, like, again, we're coming back to the same metaphor about snowball. There is a different approach. You can go deep into the snowball and find the rock where it's really originated, or you can start melting layers from outside and allow yourself when the rock is presented. So it's both ways are beautiful. It will have its own pros and cons, and if this way is like really working for somebody else, it doesn't matter that it's your way. Maybe you find a third one. Maybe you find something completely different and as powerful and as helpful for yourself.
So in the instructor course, you taught to analyze the drawings?
Yes, this is a supervision. Like, first of all, my intention is like really to show you on a course how to how to use a technical like rules that you really pay attention, and we really help to self-observe, explore, like did it work for me? How did I feel about it? Maybe I need why did I push myself so hard? Why, like, maybe I need to step back. So this is like really I will give you some insights about each drawings, like when I see something standing out, like I gave to another student about this, like, do you want to go deeper in this dark colors? But sometimes the best if you will have enough trust in yourself, and you will just start using those algorithms and self-explore. And this is the beauty, like, you really don't need to deeply understand meanings of colors and maybe meanings of all these positions of shapes to feel satisfied and feel happy and feel that process is working. This is working, doesn't matter if it's defined, well defined or not. So, and this I want our goal with another instructor, with Nat, that you feel comfortable and confident that whatever you do in Neurographica is taking you closer to the satisfaction, to the happiness and joy, and every time you learn yourself better and you heal yourself better. Even it looks sometimes too simple to believe. And like whoever was drawing Neurographica knows it's not too simple. Sometimes it could be very emotional and it could be very intense. So there is a lot of stuff is going on here. So
Yeah.
okay, I have a beautiful pink on mine. It's interesting. So many so much feminine energy, and I want some more. I want some more, and I will allow myself to. So the first one exercise was like really fast. The rest could be faster if you allow yourself to take smaller piece of paper, or like I believe that drawing with circles could be fast as well. Where is it? This one could be fast as well, and it could be, you can fill the whole page with the circles and see how this it reminds me like a fireworks, like really how you activate this colorful vision of life, like that. Yes, even during the stressful time, I still recognize different colors, different emotions in my life. So this is would be beautiful exercise to do. And thank you for asking about teenagers and kids. And I'm like, really, this is could be a very beautiful exercise for kids I'm like working with. Whenever I will have a chance to work with them again with all this interesting times. Okay, so let's keep colorful. Let's be colorful today, bright.
Did your kids receive their postcards yet? The cards?
I dropped them last Monday, and I still have concerns that it's there's some like different levels of security till anything will reach the kids. I email to the supervisor of this cottage that I'm working with, and he says that he'll pay attention to this package that I left, and I haven't heard from him since. So I honestly, like yesterday, I was like, what the worst happens if they don't receive it? Like if it will be lost, if somebody else will receive it, and I'm like trying to calm me down that like the biggest for me, I got my pleasure, and I really learned a lot about myself and about kids during this process of preparing those cards. But it would be nice if they finally receive it, but I don't want to be annoyed and ask like several times, like, did you receive it? Did you? Like, I don't want to be paranoid about it. And we'll see. Maybe they will reply me sometimes, like email me and say like, oh, thank you, we got it finally. I don't know. So I hope it will find the person who needs it the most. So this is my really lessons. Do not be attached to the results, like how to be when you invest so much energy and emotions and time in something, and don't really be attached that yes, there is always a possibility that it was a wasting of time, that it could be lost somewhere because just some person took the package. And my problem is that on the package that there was no clear identification who did it meant to be. I said it out loud, like the person confirmed it, but you know, when one person is passing to another person, the information could be lost in the middle. So I'm praying so for it. We'll see. And again, I'm already like find my peace, because it's I got very powerful insights from this experience for myself. And it will be beautiful if kids will receive it and see that I really care about them. But you know what happens? It's meant to happen. So I'm like very fatalistic in it. Like I cannot force anything. I believe like right now I've done everything that was meant to be. Like I emailed to the people who expect them, and pay attention to it. But I'm not going to like really go crazy about worrying about it. But thank you for asking. It's a, and I have pictures of every drawing that I had. I'm like, this is really was a big project. For those who are not aware that I'm, for those who just joined us, I'm a volunteer art docent at Children Correction Center, and I work with kids and I teach. I had some classes of Neurographica for them, and I prepared 20 cards for each child. And we are talking that it's there is a chance that those 20 cards could be misplaced because of my mistakes as well. So it's not just there is nobody to blame here actually but myself. That's something small details at the end I was not thinking well. I was I felt like I will be transferring to one person in person, and it was a little bit, process was significantly changed. And I'm like, I was not ready for that. So it's okay. Live and learn. And I believe like whoever needs it will receive it. Maybe not. This could be very important too. You never know. Interesting. So much bright colors today for me. This beautiful bright idea. Let's see, what is this bright idea about? Is it about light and darkness, what it is? Or is it something about something different? Okay. So how do you like this exercise?
I like it a lot.
Good one. I like this one.
Okay.
I find difference between the body sensation when I pencil and when I do marker. And
Yes.
yeah, it is a difference. I enjoy both. So far, just I'm just staying with the emotion in both of them just to release stress, because I have tendency to want to know, and no need to know, just stress as much as you can. And I also wanted a feedback on the circles, but I don't know if you see.
Okay,
Do you
let
see?
me. Okay, I was seeing. Wait. Let me come back. Yes, I
Yeah.
see.
Okay, so those are my circles. I
Uh-huh.
found that this is how I release stress. Otherwise, anything else was giving me more tension than releasing. Start just drawing, and at the end, I said, okay, I need another color. I need an interaction between two emotions here. So I was feeling a lot of emotions in the beginning with the new media. The pencil was a new media for me. So this is why I made that decision to have these two overlapping pencils.
And I'm very happy that you trusted yourself, that you really attuned to yourself. Like, yes, we sometimes, and you have to understand that when we use a color, color is always represents emotions. And when we have, and what I see in yours, like red is usually represent anger. And anger is always it's a defending something different. Like there is a different, like when you go beyond anger, we will find maybe fear, or maybe we will find the vulnerability, that the anger is just defending, that's something protecting. So you took first layer of emotions, and you were and it was enough to go deeper on a different, darker. And it's okay to stay with the darkness. Like I'm really encouraging, don't try to force this beautiful bright colors just to make yourself feel better. Allow yourself to see the darkness, to see the beauty in the darkness. And when you stay with this enough, the light will be born and the brightness will be born from it. You just when you ignore the darkness stay inside of you. Let it go. Allow yourself to clean the space for the brightness. Like release it, witness it, accept it, and find the beauty in it. So very powerful, and you can leave it as it is, or you can round it. Like it's up to you if you feel like this really needed to be done. Thank you for sharing, and it's like really a very, very deep experience. I see it even from the drawing. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah. Your facilitating helped me, especially when you said it's like day and night. Which one do you want? Which one do we need? Sometimes we need day, sometimes we need the night, but certainly we need them both.
Yes.
In the same 24 hours. So this like open up my intuitive trusting. So thank you for that. Thank you for facilitating it beautifully for my self. Thank you.
Oh, thanks for the bring this subject. It's this question is like really bothering me because more and more we all talking about lightness and loveliness and happiness and joy, And life is not just about light. It's about accepting all your emotions and all your feelings, and all of them are important, and really allow yourself to be the whole. Like life is about wholeness, not about just light, about the balance between all those emotions, how you find resources in each of them. And the best explanation I found so far is in shamanic work that I practice, that there are two worlds. There is an upper world and lower world. They both of them are very well developed. They both of them are have very high consciousness. You just go there, and all of them are trying to support in development of humankind, but they have a different purposes, and you just go to different purposes to like really to find energy related to it. For example, if you're looking for the healing, you usually go to the lower world, which consider it darkness and calmness, which could be very light there. If you're looking for the higher knowledge, for the understanding, for the teacher, you usually go to the upper world. And you just have a different purposes and different energies available. And if you go like, no, I always go just to the light, you limiting yourself to all this available resources for you. You're not going to hell. It's like, it's a different concept, but you're going to different energies, healing energies. So it's like, there's also much mixed information what is the darkness, and for the Christianity it's like really everything makes much more complex, because we have this concept of hell and heaven. And I'm not the one who is like, there is no judgment from me about it, but because I'm really don't know anything about it. Like, but I know I visited those lower worlds and upper worlds, and both of them are very happy, like places, very content and very peaceful, just different energies, different vibrations. Like you could be very peaceful with lower vibrations, and you need them to ground, to be present, to accept your body, to accept your physical pleasures, to accept money. Money are lower vibrations. And you need upper vibrations to accept this lightness, joy, like higher consciousness for different purposes. And I believe we may integrate all of these energies inside of us, and it's feel balance between them, like yin and yang. It's like the perfect example. And there is always a little bit light in the darkness, and there is a little bit darkness in the light, because both of them cannot just exist by itself. Like you still have this combinations, like, but it's again, it's for such class, it's too much philosophy and too much spiritual, like, I don't know what it is, even how to call it. It's just but I think that this question is not, I see how it's more and more often is coming in my life, and people are confused, and I'm confused as well. So that's why I'm like, keep asking. So if anybody who is going to watch this video find this beautiful answer, very good explanation of it, let me know. I will be happy to really explore your explanation. It's not fact that like I cannot promise that I will accept it, but it's at least I will be aware about some maybe different solutions. And again, I'm not very religious, but I believe in God, and I pray, and I go to church. So don't really try to throw rocks to me that I'm like trying to all this shamanism that I'm advertising. I'm just, for me, all this knowledge is very important and very encoded in us from ancient times. Like really, we don't have to limit ourselves from our roots, from our ancient background, because there was a very good reasons why it's existed for thousands of years and why we needed it for thousands of years, and we still need it. There is some explanation there that we for some reason decided to forget or ignore. So. And for different people, there are different tools. I'm very clear about it. Like really, there is no, don't try to find your tools. Try to find your instrument. So I'm not saying that, like, oh, everybody has to draw Neurographica. I believe like people have to try it before they make decision. Is it working for them or not? But if it's not working, find something else. Find maybe different art style, but at least allow yourself to have this choice. Like, I'm not going to try because I don't want to. Like, it's a choice. It's your choice. It's okay. You don't have to prove me anything, and I don't have to prove anything to you. And this is opportunity for us, for all of us. Okay. And I had some people who tried and said like, no, I do different style of art and I'm happy with this, and it's I don't feel like this is my thing, and I highly respect this decision. I don't have to convince that it's for everybody.
And but how do you deal with other people who are not respecting your decision? Like, have you met those? Or
you know, I had and I met such people, and there was much more people that in my life when I was not certain what I want. When I was confused about what I want in my life, how, like, and if people was like feeling that this uncertainty in my decision, they tried to convince me and tried to like really say like, no, you have to do this and that, like be as old one, like be as everybody. When I was like 100% sure, like I'm doing what I want, and I feel very confident about it and very strong about it. I'm not trying to convince anybody. Like, if you don't want to, it's your decision. You don't have to prove me anything. It's okay. But when I give them freedom to choose, they really like less and less people who try to convince me that I'm wrong or like try to prove me that I need to do something different. So like when you respect other people, they start respecting you. So like really, it was much more conflict when I tried to say like, oh, you living in like in the darkness, you need some light. Like the more I really going through my way, like my journey, I understand that the darkness is healing, and it's okay if people sometimes in darkness. That it's not I don't have to be this torch of light that everybody should be awakening, and everybody should praying, and everybody should draw Neurographica. No. Everybody has to make their own decisions, because we are humans, and we have a free will, and it's the beauty of this humankind as a humanity, that we can be different and still be connected to each other. So I don't really need to be friends only with those who draw Neurographica. I can be friends with anybody who never tried Neurographica and or doesn't really want to be hearing anything about it. So I respect the differences. It's this, like right now, it's a very beautiful movement we have in US, that there is no racism, but it's not just about the difference, physical difference, but a difference of opinions, a difference of belief systems. I don't really have to force my belief system on anybody. I may try to inspire, but it's your decision, because when we try to force anything, there is nothing coming good out of it. It's when we try to force anything, really convince somebody like you need this and that, it's my ego starts talking, not my love or not my heart. Like when I accept people as they are, and when I see the beauty in them as they are, I really don't need to heal anybody. Like in my eyes, everybody has enough power to heal themselves. So this is my decision. And if they don't see me as healed, it's not my problem, it's their problem. Of course, it may create more challenges for me, but it's okay. So, wow, what a speech I gave you. Kenny, every time I give speeches, maybe I need to have a very big like stand and just start speech on streets. Like, yeah, big ideas all the time.
I love it.
So we are talking about supporting that like everybody is equal and every belief system should be equal, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. Like when I don't try to enforce or harm anybody, this is a safe belief system that could be accepted. Oh, now I'm like, look, I have all these bright ideas, and now I have some different colors starts appearing on my drawings. Like really, I have this change of heart, like really change of my emotion. Okay, let's make it darker. If we're talking about the darkness, let's make it a little bit darker. and see the beauty in it. Okay, so you can create narrow lines as well in this drawings, because we want to be aligned with the universe as always, to meet right people at the right place at the right time, and see that we following a divine plan, that we following this beautiful purpose in life. Everyone has a different purpose in life, and it's we need each of us and sometimes I use this exercise to make priorities, like when I have so much and I like start just exploring these lines, and I have like sometimes several projects or several decisions need to make. I can use it as to see the value of each crossings, to see how much it's going to be.
Anna, here's mine.
Oh, you color it. Look how to this flow, like really everything is going somewhere. And you know, for some reason, it looks like peacock's tail.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you can almost see the neck
and
up
it's
here.
just needs to, like, where's the head? Yeah.
Here we go. How about this?
Here is the peacock.
I'm the peacock.
So yes, something is like really focusing. So much energy is coming, and if you notice the flow of the energy, usually your drawings are very bright and very different colors combined together. These are very close in shades, like very close in harmonious flow. They complement each other, and they're not so contrast. So just pay attention. What is like really focusing right now? Like where all your energy is going. Add some field lines, because
Healing for everyone.
Healing.
That's been my focus lately, is healing, sending out healing and love.
Okay, so bring this field line that will represent divine healing, the universal healing as well, because it's,
I think I'm gonna do that.
you make it brighter, make it maybe even more defined, make it bolder, because there is so much healing we need right now that it's very ambitious to think that we can do it on our own. We need any help that is available on different levels.
So which part are you saying I need to make bolder?
I encourage you to create bigger, bolder lines for this divine lines, like this field lines.
Yeah.
Just make them noticeable.
Yes. Thank you.
First of all, noticeable for yourself, so that like that you feel like I'm supported by universe on this big. And we always, like when we try to invite healing, especially when we invite healing for the universe, like everybody wants to heal everybody. Heal yourself first, like healing, initiate healing of your own body, of your own perception of life, your own soul. So it's like we it's not about being egoistic, but it's about taking care of yourself. Allow yourself to be healed. And when you heal yourself, thousands will be healed around.
Yep.
This is
And
a
if I did my drawing with color pencil for the field line, I just make a bolder with the same pencil.
Yes, right now I'm just yes, I'm using this the same pencil. The pencils, the beauty of the pencils that they can be sharpened or not sharpened, and it's create completely different qualities of lines, and you can make them bolder. So it's on the camera it's hard to see, but I notice the difference that it could be.
Can I show mine?
Yes, I like, yeah, turn on camera. Wow, you have so much green. Nice.
It was white, but I didn't like it, so I just decided to paint.
Green
all.
is a curiosity, is originality. It's like really how you can activate some new beginnings. Like you really, and if you, I want to understand that when we have so much fear inside of us, the biggest healing will be if we don't focus on it and start activating, be curious about ourselves, be curious about life. And this is like really finding new opportunities. And I just love how this new beginnings are coming your way, like really flowing. Again,
So
blue
field
and brown.
lines, just yeah, just little.
It's okay. It still be there. It still be you. It's a very important to notice that it still be with you.
And so just I use the same color, just make it bolder.
Okay.
The field lines.
You
Yes?
can make even, yeah, you can make it very bold. If you want, you may use a highlighter, and let me show you on mine. So just like you can use a completely different, a little bit more contrast colors to make it noticeable.
Oh.
So like if you want, see, because it's a little bit too radical. But if you feel like, okay, maybe like right now, I want to make sure that the universe supporting me. This is very important for me to feel connected to the universe, to feel the purpose of the situations. And you creating those lines, they can be bolder, they can be different color. Just make sure that you try to all this new corners that happens a little bit rounded.
Okay. Thank you.
It's that universe is really not forcing anything, but organically integrated in your drawing.
So Anna, in every drawing that we do you always do universal lines? And do you always do fixing lines?
I prefer to use them because they like really gives you the different sensations. Like when you, it's for me, the most important about field lines that to know that I'm connected to the everything and everybody, that I'm not alone. And it's for some reason it's a very important for me that I'm have this sensation of belonging and connecting. It's actually like very important feeling. People, most of us feeling anxiety and fear when we don't feel that support from anybody, or to feel connections to anybody, especially if we have this lost connections to our families, to our ancestry roots. But here, I can create this connection, and for me, it gives another perspective, different level of belonging.
I agree. And what about the fixing?
So for me, I highlighted the element that is really important for me, and it wasn't even intention that I want to highlight anything, but it's happened. Like I started give this big speech, and the emotions start be different, and I just decided to color it differently, and somehow this is a very importantly show up. And I'm like, really, it's a very important subject. Like I need to give more, wanted to say space. I need to give more thoughts about what is all these energies about balance between dark and light in my life, and see how it's working for me before I can even really identify it.
So that's more an intensive, and it's more of an intuitive thing then.
So in these drawings, it happens like organically for me. Sometimes I want to, like when I look at the drawing and I want to highlight something, I can, and maybe I don't even know what I highlight, but I just feel like I'm scanning with my hand and see which one really gives me the shiverings, which one is really gives me this pulse of energy that I want to highlight. I want to focus and see. It's when I like in a month I will not remember what I was drawing about. Maybe I will not remember in a week what was it about, but I will notice, okay, so this was very important, and my subconscious mind will remember it. My subconscious mind will resonate with this. Even my mind will be, oh, I have to think what was it, and like I usually sign my works on site, like on the back side, like date, what was the topic, and if I had some insights, I put insights as well on top. So,
Can I show you my drawing?
oh yes, please.
And can you tell me if you can see the universe lines?
Okay, so, oh yes, I see them, like very well defined.
Good.
Yes. Yeah, very well defined, very beautiful, powerful circles.
Thank you.
Okay, so I want to show you that like this, that highlighting on this one is happened organically. This green sun, maybe it's a green heart that is opening up. So this is something that is going even beyond the drawing. And this is a big one. So it's not necessary to be the biggest element that really attracts the most energy, but something that really has this intensity. So, okay. So for next class, I just show you two drawings that I've done already about these eclipses. So this was the first my practice before I decided to show it. And this has the silver.
Yeah.
So this, I believe, yeah, let me see. Yeah, this is about eclipses. So this was the class that I've done on Saturday with Russian group. And this was about the same eclipses. So and you see how different they are, like the same topic, but different. So I'm very excited what is going to show up on Friday.
That's
gorgeous. We are going to draw another eclipse. And if you want to be right on time, like when this is just has happened, and still be available to invite the resources, invite the energies to really go through this transformations, going through all these intense energies in harmonious way. come on Friday at 6, or maybe next Wednesday at 12. So it's both classes will be about the same topic. And I know already other topics for future classes, but it will be, I will tell you about them more next week when we do next class. So because I don't want to overwhelm you with like all these possibilities that how much we can learn and how deep we can go. So and of course, if you have any interesting subjects, interesting topics that you want to explore and see how it could be used with Neurographica, please don't hesitate to tell me, because I'm very enthusiastic about creating new exercises. So I want it to be attuned to you. So if you have any special requests, let me know. And we have already more than 3 hours working together. So again, we learned 4 exercises. You can choose which one works the best for you, which one works the best for maybe for your child, or maybe you can combine some of them and see how it's really working. So play with this, play and let me know. So do we have any questions?
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day. So we have quite interstate meeting today. So we have people from different states, and it's very encouraging, like really how the distance is not a problem when we feel connected to beautiful souls. So take care. I wish you find a peace and joy, and see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anna.
Bye, girls.
Thank you, Anna. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.